Ever wonder what life was like for our closest extinct relatives, the Neanderthals? Forget the old cartoon image of dim-witted brutes dragging clubs. The real story is far more fascinating. For over 350,000 years, from the icy plains of Europe to the mountains of Western Asia, Neanderthals thrived. They weren't just a stepping stone on the way to us. They were a successful, intelligent branch of the human family tree. They lived through dramatic climate shifts, hunted colossal beasts, and developed a complex culture all their own. So, what did it really mean to be a Neanderthal? Let's travel back in time, peel back the layers of misconception, and meet our ancient cousins face to face. Join me as we step into the world of the Neanderthals. What did a Neanderthal actually look like? Well, they were built for the cold. Imagine a shorter, stockier, more muscular version of us. This robust build was perfect for conserving heat during the harsh ice ages. They had broad chests, powerful limbs, and a distinctive facial structure. Their skulls featured a prominent brow ridge, a receding chin, and a large, wide nose. This wasn't just for looks. That big nose likely helped to warm and humidify the frigid, dry air they breathed. And here's a shocker. Their brains were, on average, just as large as ours, and sometimes even larger. This large brain powered a complex and challenging existence, proving they were far from the simple-minded creatures they were once thought to be. Their physical adaptations were a masterclass in survival, perfectly tuning them to the world they inhabited. So, how did a Neanderthal spend their day? Life was a constant, challenging quest for survival, and they were exceptionally good at it. They were apex predators, skilled and cooperative hunters who took down some of the Ice Age's most formidable megafauna. We're talking woolly mammoths, giant deer, and powerful bison. Imagine the courage and strategy required for that. To do this, they didn't just use brute force. They used their brains. Neanderthals were master craftspeople, creating a sophisticated toolkit known as the Mousterian industry. These weren't crude rocks. They were meticulously shaped stone flakes used as knives, scrapers, and spear points. They knew how to select the right stone, how to shape it for a specific task, and how to maintain their tools. This required foresight and planning. Fire was also central to their existence. They didn't just use it, they controlled it. Fire provided warmth against the biting cold, a way to cook meat, making it easier to digest and safer to eat, and a protective barrier to keep dangerous predators at bay. Gathering around a crackling fire at the end of a long day wasn't just for survival. It was the heart of their social world. Where did Neanderthals call home? Their homes were often natural shelters like caves and rock overhangs, which offered protection from the elements and predators. But they didn't just wander in and settle down. Archaeological evidence shows they organized their living spaces with distinct areas for butchering animals, making tools, and sleeping. They were homebodies. They also built simple open-air shelters, likely from branches and animal hides, when they were on the move or in areas without caves. They lived in small, close-knit family groups, probably numbering around 15 to 30 individuals. This small group size was perfect for a mobile hunting and gathering lifestyle, and life in these groups was deeply social. They weren't lone wolves. They relied on each other. The evidence of healed injuries on Neanderthal skeletons is incredibly telling. Individuals with severe fractures who would have been unable to hunt or fend for themselves for weeks or even months survived. This means others in their group fed them, protected them, and cared for them. This compassion and social support network is a profoundly human trait, showing us a side of Neanderthals that's often overlooked. How did Neanderthals dress for an Ice Age winter? They certainly weren't running around naked. They were skilled at processing animal hides to create warm, protective clothing. While cloth doesn't survive for tens of thousands of years, the tools they left behind tell the story. Archaeologists have found stone scrapers used to clean hides and sharp awls made of bone, which were likely used to punch holes in the leather. They could have then threaded sinew or plant fibers through these holes to stitch pieces together. Think of simple but effective ponchos, leggings, and wraps that kept them insulated from freezing temperatures. They also developed other impressive technologies. For instance, they created the first known synthetic adhesive, a glue made from birch bark. This required heating the bark in an oxygen-free environment, a complex process that shows a real understanding of material science. They used this tar to attach stone points to wooden shafts, creating stronger, more reliable hunting spears. This level of planning and problem-solving demonstrates a mind that could think abstractly and innovate. Did Neanderthals have culture? Absolutely. And this is where their story gets truly compelling. For a long time, art and symbolism were thought to be exclusive to modern humans. But recent discoveries have completely overturned that idea. We now know that Neanderthals intentionally buried their dead. While the exact meaning is debated, the act itself suggests they had complex social bonds and perhaps even a concept of an afterlife. They didn't just discard their deceased, they placed them in graves, sometimes in specific positions. Beyond burials, we have evidence of personal adornment. They collected eagle talons and shells, which they may have worn as jewelry. They also used pigments like red ochre and black manganese. We found these pigments on shells and on their tools, suggesting they were used for decoration or perhaps body painting. This is symbolic behavior using color and objects to convey meaning. It points towards a mind capable of abstract thought, a key component of modern human cognition. This wasn't just survival. This was the beginning of art and ritual. So, if Neanderthals were so similar to us, what happened when we finally met? We didn't just compete, we connected. Genetic evidence has delivered one of the biggest bombshells in human evolution. Modern humans and Neanderthals interbred. As groups of Homo sapiens migrated out of Africa and into Europe and Asia, they encountered established Neanderthal populations. And, well, one thing led to another. The result is that most people of non-African descent today carry between 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA in their genomes. That's right, a little bit of Neanderthal lives on in you and me. This genetic legacy influences everything from our immune systems to our skin's reaction to sunlight. So why are we here and they aren't? It likely came down to a combination of factors. Our ancestors may have had slightly more efficient hunting technologies, larger social networks, or a more flexible diet, giving them a competitive edge, especially as the climate began to change rapidly. This leads us to the ultimate question. Why did the Neanderthals go extinct? After dominating Europe for hundreds of thousands of years, they vanished from the fossil record around 40,000 years ago. There's no single, simple answer. It was likely a perfect storm of pressures. The climate during their final millennia was incredibly unstable, with rapid and extreme fluctuations between cold and warm periods. This would have disrupted the ecosystems they relied on, making food sources less predictable. Then there was the arrival of us, Homo sapiens. We were a new species competing for the same land and resources. While direct violent conflict was probably rare, even a slight competitive advantage for modern humans could have been devastating for Neanderthals over thousands of years. Finally, their interbreeding with a much larger population of modern humans might have led to them being gradually absorbed. Instead of being violently replaced, their population may have simply been swamped, their genes diluted into the expanding human gene pool. In a way, they never truly vanished. A part of them became a part of us. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the world of our ancient cousins. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the human story. See you next time.